Hello guys, today we'll be doing the importance of wetlands and how to keep them clean, grade 6 natural sciences. And I'll be starting with the approaches I used. I used visualization because it helps to bring all dull academic concepts to life with practical and visual learning experiences. Visualization also helps students to understand how their schooling applies in the real world and helps them process information and use it to their advantage. Visualization could be done by displaying photos, audio clips, and videos and encouraging students with local field trips and classroom experiments. Last week we went on to a local field trip to a wetland in our environment. The wetland was very polluted, and I asked the students to take a book and a pen with to describe the environment and what they liked and what they didn't like, and to tell us what natural they see animals, plants, and everything, the good and the bad. And then we'd come back next week. I created a poster that had a water filter system on how to clean water. This is going to be an assignment for them, a group work assignment for the end of the term. So I also use cooperative learning because I put them in. We started off as a classroom, a large group, then I put them in smaller groups, and then when they had to answer questions about the different ways to clean water, they were individuals. So that process. So we started with cooperative learning because it encourages students to mix abilities to work together by promoting whole class or small group activities. Through verbally expressing their ideas and responding to others, the students will develop their self-confidence and embrace their critical thinking and communication skills, which are vital throughout life. Cooperative learning could be done by solving puzzles, conducting experiments, and acting out sketches. They're going to have to do a poster together where they put the advantages, disadvantages, and they're going to explain the process with a diagram of their water system and have a physical water system. That's going to be our project. I also incorporated technology because I asked the students to Google the best water system, how to clean water. I asked them to Google advantages. It was independent work as a group. They had to get pictures, Google how to clean water. They had to. It was independent work. They had to Google different wetlands, the positives of wetlands, and the disadvantages of them on our environment. So I use technology in the classroom. Incorporating technology in your is a great way to actively engage students, especially because the digital media surrounds young people. In the 21st century, a device or interactive whiteboards can be used to display videos and images, which help students visualize new academic concepts. Learning becomes more interactive when technology is used, or students can physically engage during lessons as well as instantly research their ideas, which develops autonomy. Mobile devices such as tablets or iPads can be used in the classroom for students to take videos or photos to record results and as a behavior management technique. Incorporating educational programs into such lesson plans is a great way to make formative assessments engaging. I also thought that it would help keep the students active and would interest them if they learned their own information and came up with their own research. Okay, so our prior knowledge was we went on a field trip. The outcomes is I want learners to express their opinions of the importance of wetlands, compile ideas on how to protect wetlands, create advantages of wetlands for the environment in our society, and be able to produce disadvantages of destroying our wetlands. I want them to work in a team by being grouped together, communicate effectively in large groups and as a whole classroom about wetlands and how and why to keep them clean, effectively solve problems by being exposed to environmental problems. That's why we went on a local field trip and provide solutions. I want students to be able to live sustainably and avoid damaging the wetland and know why. Avoid polluting by not littering in the wetland in their community and in other people's communities. Protect the environment around them and inform people about the importance of protecting our wetlands and environment. The assessment, like I said, they're going to be in group work. They're going to have to make a poster where they put a water filter system. Then they're going to have to label it, make it beautiful, color it, disadvantages, advantages, and at the end have their own model. So, which I will assess. The topic will be introduced by the teacher. The learners will have prior knowledge because they went on a field trip. We read a case study about a wetland in Cape Town, and I asked the students to compare last week. The case study also helps students with knowing how to take care and protect wetlands. I gave the learners questions like what is a wetland, why are they important, what is the disadvantages of destroying them. While the lesson develops, as I said, I'm going to put the learners in bigger groups because this works out better. This helps all learners work together as a team rather than in pairs and in twos, because everyone can be involved as a classroom discussion. The learners' ideas flow better when they work together and everyone participates in the topic and learn better from each other and themselves. I will continuously ask different questions and the learners are free to ask questions because I created a safe environment that isn't teacher-centered and allows learners to feel valued as well. The learners will be closed off by giving an activity where they must tabulate the different ways to clean water and state the advantages and disadvantages of every method. We will discuss this in class and they will be given a memo. Questions I'll focus on is what is a wetland? Compare our wetland to the wetland in the case study. Plan the best way to clean water. Choose the best method to save our wetland and substantiate your answers. This questions like this allows them to think for themselves, but as well as it's something they can read about and then, okay, I think let's discuss this. This helps with cooperative learning and visualization. It helps them think, or what would I do if it was polluted, and so forth and so on. I will give them short set of questions to finish about ways to clean, yes. And for people who struggle, everything will be repeated afterwards. For homework, I'll ask them to imagine they're in the Namibian desert. In a paragraph of 80 to 100 words, they will have to tell me what they will do. The water is full of dust and full of papers and bottles. How will they have to drink water? They're thirsty. They're in the Namibian desert. The water is undrinkable. Choose the best way to clean this water and why you chose this method. Okay, so we discussed preventing water pollution. Never throw rubbish into a river or on the ground. Never pour oil down a drain or sink. Most insoluble items can be removed from a river by hand. Organized river cleanups can remove any insoluble pollutions from our rivers. Okay. Examples of pollution are fertilizers from farmers, chemicals used by factories, soap powder used for clothes, soap used by people to wash themselves. Preventing water pollution. Use a little soap. Use a little fertilizer as possible in your garden. Avoid using pesticides. So basically, sustainable living should be practiced by all of us. Don't overuse. Okay, then what is a wetland, in case no one knows? A wetland is a shallow body of water with plants such as reeds. Other names of wetlands are marshes, swamps, sea pits, and floodplains. Wetlands control floods. Wetlands are habitats. Wetlands can clean pollution. There are some advantages for you guys. In the case study we read, clean water. So wetlands are important for animals because animals drink. Wetlands are important for plants because they grow there. The importance of clean water. Water management is everybody's responsibility. And and the 4 ways. This is very important because this is going to help the students with your to tabulate the advantages and disadvantages and choose the best method for their group work to choose the best water to clean water system. So the 4 are boiling water, filtering water, settling water, chemical treatments. So boiling water. Boiled water is heated to kill any germs in the water. This method uses a lot of electricity, disadvantage of firewood, and does not remove soluble or insoluble pollutants. There's 2 disadvantages, but it's easy because you just boil it. There's a disadvantage. It's easy. Filtering water. Pouring water through a funnel and filter paper removes most of the insoluble pollutants such as sand, but germs can pass through the filter paper, which is a disadvantage. But it's easy because you just pour the water through a funnel, which you can make or buy. Settling water. that is allowed to settle will appear clean, but not all those insoluble pollutions will settle. Germs and insoluble pollutants are not removed. A disadvantage is not all germs are removed, but settling water, the water does appear clean. Chemical treatments. Chemical treatments are expensive. Chlorifine or iodine can be added to water to kill germs, but these chemicals are expensive and make the water taste awful, but it is the most used. It works the best. So tabulate advantages and disadvantages of this classroom. Afterwards, this is a physical example of my water system. I labeled it. And this shows the water coming through, dirty, full of soil, and comes out clean. This is an example of what everybody should do. Right. Next, we'll be doing English. For English, I did adjectives. I also focused on visualization. Why I chose visualization? Because I thought it's the best way possible, because adjectives are describing verbs. What's the best way to use describing or then to use visualization? Like I asked the students, what color are your shoes? They are black shoes. How does the wall feel? The classroom wall. It's rough. What color is the sky? It's blue. What color is your t-shirt? How does your t-shirt feel? It's soft. Then I would tell them this is describing words. So I made posters. I said adjectives are describing words that tell about people, animals, places, and in things. I used elephants, crayons, shapes, numbers. An adjective is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. This is a bit further. It's not just a describing word. It describes a noun or pronoun. Like a cute baby, the baby's cute. A pink dress, the dress is pink. Juicy orange, if orange is juicy. Huge elephant, it's a huge elephant. Spooky house, the house is spooky. Another way is adjectives are words that describe nouns, people, places, animals, things. They help us imagine what the person, place, animal, or thing is like. Colors, nouns, senses, behavior, size. Again, a bit more advanced to keep them going. Adjectives is an object describes a noun. So this is simple, and I kept on giving them sentence. She is a pretty girl. This is a brown dog. The small shop is open. It is a funny book. Adjectives helps to give our sentences life. Right? Okay. So this is visualization. I thought it was very important to be hands-on and ask people to randomly give out adjectives, the words that they think are adjectives. And again, I wanted to add that this is English, and South Africa has 11 official languages. So the South African classroom is a diverse, dynamic environment. The classroom brings together students with various personalities and abilities from different backgrounds. Being an effective teacher requires the implementation of creative and innovative teaching strategies to meet students' individual needs. The first approach I use, like I said, visualization, because visualization helps to bring dull academic concepts to life with practical and visual experiences. I also use cooperative learning because it encourages students of mixed abilities to work together by promoting whole class activities. We worked as a class. Everyone had to say, what color is your hair? How does your hair feel? What color are your teeth? How does your shirt feel? How does your school pants feel? This was very important for me, for everyone to participate. Right. My outcomes are the students should be able to analyze text, create their own sentences using and identifying adjectives, express their concerns and understanding regarding adjectives, communicate effectively about adjectives they notice in the environment and the given text, solve the sentence problems given to them, communicate more in educational settings regarding basic sentences, gain analyzing skills, gain reading and speaking skills, learn about problem solving skills regarding adjective sentences. I'll give them worksheets on adjectives and sentences, text and sentences to work on through and solve. I gave them a lot of text. It started with basic adjectives, then I told them just underline the adjective. In the next worksheet, I told them circle the noun, then underline the adjective. This will help them differentiate just in case they get confused or they were not sure. So by introducing the lesson, we'll discuss what an adjective is, we describe and where do the learners see them in their classroom and the environment. How are the development of the lesson will have a worksheet where learners have to underline the adjectives and circle the nouns it describes. The learners will also have a worksheet where learners will have to create their own sentences with adjectives they themselves choose. They have the freedom to create their own adjectives. This helps them process information and they're sure they know what they're doing. Examples of questions: simple, what is an adjective? What does an adjective do? Remembering questions. At the end, if students did not understand, after school they come to me and I describe it one on one, and we will go for a walk and I ask you, what do you see? And I'll tell them everything you describe that is describing is an adjective. So here's a passage I gave them. Pat and Ben are good friends. They like to play at the pond. Pat looks for little fish and Ben looks for green frogs. Da 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 da. Here I ask them to underline the adjective. This is full of adjectives. It's a passage. This helps them quickly see sentences. Oh, this describes, so this is an adjective. I gave them a poster with adjectives. This helps them with words. Then I told them to fill in the missing adjectives. And then last but not least, they create their own sentences and make their own adjectives. I love the independence of this as much as it's not teacher centered. We work together, but it's very hands on. Everyone is up for it, everyone is involved, everyone is busy and visualizing and using their imagination. I think this helps learners process information and makes them independent students and will help them for future sentences and sentence structures and exams. Thank you very much.